This is Andy Gutierrez from StarWars.com, and you are listening to Coffee with Kenobi with Dan Z. This is the podcast you're looking for.
This is James Arnold Taylor, and you're listening to Coffee with Kenobi. I have a good feeling about this.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to CWK Live, Monday nights throughout the summer at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm your host, Dan Zaire, joined by a special guest,
Mason Zaire.
Hey, Mason, welcome back to Facebook Live, dude.
Thank you.
Yeah, so Mason wanted to come on, and we're going to talk about some important news today. So Mason is my special guest for the big stuff. Let's welcome in everybody. Minta, this is the way. It's CWK Day. Hello, Minta. Mary is here. Happy Monday to you, Mary. Hello, Ross. Great to see you, buddy. Terry is here. Hello, Terry. Jason is here. Henrik can't make it, but he has top fives for both of them, which is great. Thank you, Jason, so much. Terry, doesn't matter if you got a list. We're just happy to have you, buddy. Just happy to have you along. And everyone's excited about the Mace, as Ross says. Mary says, hey, Mason. Terry is excited to see you as well. Minta says, hey, Mason. Jason says, well, look at you. And David Motters, yo, Mason, what is up? Well, this is great. It's good to see all of you. I'm biased, but I'm happy Mason's here. I'm happy you're all here. We're going to talk about a lot of things this week. We're going to talk about, let's get it up here for you. We're going to talk about your top 5 moments from Star Wars Visions, episode 7 to 9. We're certainly going to talk about the Galactic Starcruiser and the big news about it closing in September, and your comments and questions. Ben is here. He says, happy Monday. What's up, Mason? It's good to see you, my friend. Very good to see you. Then we've got Brian says, Mad Eye Mason is in the house. That Brian is who coined that term. Mason, how does it feel to be back on CWK Live, and what would you like to tell everybody?
Excited for the Starcruiser, and it feels good to be back.
Absolutely. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at what is brewing in the world of Star Wars this week. All right, so obviously the big news is the announcement that Disney is going to be closing the Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser this year as of September 28th to the 30th. That will be the final voyage. It's kind of ironic and a little heartbreaking that the last day that the Starcruiser will have its final voyage to September 30th is going to be my birthday. Boy, that is just wild. So let's talk about this thing, okay? We know... I'm going to make the screen a little bit bigger. I brought Mason in just for this reason because, as you know, Mason and I were very fortunate, very blessed to be guests on the very first Galactic Starcruiser experience. We did a massive media event for it. It was Mason, Deanna, and myself, and we had the best time. So I actually waited a day, Mason, to tell you about this because I knew you'd be a little disappointed. How did you feel when you found out the Starcruiser was going to be closing down this September?
I was surprised, but now that I think about it, because of the price of it, it makes sense. But I think they should make it into a normal hotel, still keep like the Spock and some of that and the food, and then just lower the price.
You know what? I like all those decisions. I think those are really, really smart. Terry says, I think we're in for a special trip. Thank you, Dan, for organizing our June trip. You know what? My pleasure. Big thanks to MEI Mouse Fan Travel for helping that happen. So, yes, as we said, it is going to be shut down. There are a lot of people who had this booked through the rest of the year, and suddenly when they realized it was closing in September, then they thought, oh my gosh, I'm not going to get to go on the Starcruiser. So the event, or being able to book the Starcruiser, they actually shut it down for a brief amount of time, as you may have actually heard about this. So the way this is going to work, and I'm looking up the details here, but I'm pretty sure it's the 25th. Let me back that up for you really quickly. But I think until May 25th, no one can book anything. And feel free to jump in here. I know I posted in the cafe, so I'm pulling it up as we speak. But because they needed to make sure that everybody got a chance to reschedule, you have to wait until, the 26th, May 26th. Now today is the 22nd, so you've got a couple of days to decide if this is something you really, really want to join us for. Okay, so again, the way that's going to work is, as of now, to accommodate all the guests that have a Starcruiser experience after September, they're going to try to rebook them, so they've shut down all new reservations until May 26th. But here's the good news, and I posted this in the cafe, again, which is our Facebook group, family friendly, spoiler free. It's a great place to converse about Star Wars. But you can email MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. You can just send me a personal message, and I will be happy to send you directly with the individual from MEI and Mouse Fan Travel that we are working with for the specific trip. Or you can just go to coffeewithkenobi.com/mousefantravel and then say that you would like to get a no cost, no obligation quote. Now, obviously, because it's 3 weeks away, literally 3 weeks away from today, you have to act really, really quickly. You'll have to pay really quickly. And I know that's a big ask. Okay, so let's talk about the fact that this thing is closing. Mason said really well just a few moments ago, it's expensive. And I said this when we covered the show. It's expensive. It's a very the sticker shock is real. The sticker shock is real. And a lot of people have talked about this. I'm just going to say the official things that we actually know are true. I posted what Disney said on Coffee with Kenobi's website today. But to run this thing, you've got to think about the actors who are they're living on site for the entire 2 nights, 3-day experience. Plus, you got to have backups there in case somebody gets sick. The food, the lighting, all the special amenities and things that happen, the restaurants, the entertainment. There's a lot that goes into this thing. So it makes sense. And plus, there's only 100 rooms. So you have to think about this. For a hotel, the more rooms you have, the cheaper the rooms will be because there's so many people paying for the rooms, right? But so for this one, because there's only 100 rooms, there's a more intimate feel to it. But it also means the price is going to go up. The biggest mistake people, I think that Disney has even said, well, I don't know if they've actually said it or not, but I think the general consensus is that they didn't market it properly because it's not a hotel. Yes, you can stay there. The rooms are amazing. And how awesome are the rooms?
They're great. The bunk beds are insane.
The bunk beds are insane. I have a feeling that was going to come up a lot on our Starcruiser experience. But the room, yes, you can stay there. There is a place to stay. It's a cruise. It's an event. But it's not a hotel. It's very immersive. It is like a choose your own adventure experience / murder mystery / escape room / a live action role playing thing where you're living out your Star Wars. I mean, I don't know about you. Actually, I do know what you're going to say. But don't you feel like you're in a Star Wars movie when you're on this thing?
Yes.
Tell me why.
Because literally you see Kylo Ren and you see a droid and you see all of these like Imperial people and all these people that are trying to help you, and it feels just like one of the movies.
Yes, and like when you open the doors, the way they slide open and makes the sound effect, it just feels like you're in a Star Wars movie. So this is so much more than anything you could possibly imagine. So it's an experience. It's a massive, massive experience. And I want to say personally that to the Imagineers and our friends at Lucasfilm and Disney and the theme parks, they spent years on this thing. They put their blood, sweat, and tears into this thing. It's difficult. Imagine having like a passion project that's a once in a lifetime thing that you're able to build, and then all of a sudden it's done. That's hard. It's difficult. So my heart goes out to the people who worked on this thing and are not able to see it fully grow. Now, what is the future? Nobody knows. Literally nobody knows. I'd be shocked if Disney knows what they're going to do because it just happened. So, do I hope it stays around as a hotel? Of course I do. The challenge is that there are no windows, right? So to sell a hotel without windows will be difficult. There's no pool. There's no exercise area. So there's a lot of opportunity there to really make something come to life and make it great. But I don't know when or if that will ever happen. That's just my sincere hope. What would you like to see happen, Mason?
I think the cafeteria or whatever where you eat.
Yes.
The cafeteria. They should keep that because it's perfect to get your own food, pick what you eat.
Mm-hmm.
You just get whatever you want. Honestly, I'd recommend blue and green milk both at the same time. Don't mix them though.
Oh, yes.
But I would say you should put in a pool or something and make it look like you're jumping in something from
Ooh.
Star Wars.
Ooh, the trash compactor?
Hmm.
That would be, except the walls won't close on you.
Yeah.
Hopefully that won't happen.
And at the bottom, there's like a painting of the monster.
Oh yeah, of the Dianoga. Now that would be cool. But not. What if one comes out once in a while? Would that be a problem?
And then you should have like a Imperial workout training center.
Oh, that's brilliant. Well, Disney, I hope you're listening. That's a really good idea. That's a really good idea. So yeah, those are the main things. I mean, yes, it was probably too expensive to sustain itself over a long period of time. But the good news, as many of you know, is that we're still going to go. Like nothing is happening as far as the existing ones. Several of you have messaged me and said, hey, you know what? We've changed our mind. We do want to go on the Coffee with Kenobi Starcruiser experience. So again, June 12th to the 14th is when we're going. It's literally 3 weeks from today. Cannot wait. It's coffeewithkenobi.com/mousefan travel. If you have a hard time getting through, send me a personal message on Facebook, and I will connect you directly with the people from MEI and Mouse Fan Travel that I am working with so that this can actually happen for you. But again, remember, you can't book new reservations until May 26th to accommodate those who have to reschedule because the Starcruiser is closing in September. Now, let's talk about something that, so again, it's going to make this one even more special. Let's look at the comments. There's a lot of great comments here, so Mason, I'd like for you to weigh in on these too. We've got some great feedback. Let's see. Ben says, I've heard a lot of stories of people still saving for their first voyage and they just needed more time. Yeah, that makes sense. Again, it's expensive. When you see the cost versus everything you get out of it, you start to realize why it costs as much as it did. But yes, it does. You have to save for it for sure. And I said from the beginning, when we first went on this thing last year, look, I mean, going on this means I'll have to not do another kind of trip, or maybe this is 2 trips. So I understand that. David says, looking forward to meeting you, Mason, on the Starcruiser. Love your idea about making it a hotel. Yes, David, of course, is on the show.
The first day will probably be the best day of the Starcruiser.
First day? How come?
It's my birthday.
Oh, that's right. That is right. June 12th, the first day, is going to be Mason's 10th birthday. It'll be a great way to celebrate it. Let's see. Mary says it's the end of the fiscal year for them, so it makes sense to close in. There are all kinds of financial reasons for tax issues. Still sad. Yep, it is really tough, for sure. Andrew says, well, all the tech that's in the building, I would be shocked if they just abandoned it. I can't imagine they would. Or if they do, Mason and I would like the Savak table. Just throwing it out there. Sorry, Matt. We called dibs. Actually, you probably would get rights over it.
I beat him, so.
You did beat Matt Martin and Savak, and he still laughs about that. Ross says, I'm so excited many of you are going and we'll be able to keep it alive with memories, pics, videos. You know, Ross said something really nice. He and I were texting back and forth, and he said he wished he could go, but we've documented so well that he feels like he's a part of it. And I'm glad. That's the point. Whether you're able to join us or not, we want you to feel like you're a part of that experience. So expect a lot of video and pictures from this trip. Mina says, if it becomes a hotel, I'd love to be a part of that. You know, that would be awesome. I mean, you know, there's so much great stuff in that building. You just, I hope that does happen someday. Mary says reservations open up May 26th. That's right. As we said, when I've seen the rebookings have already sold out for the final cruise. Yeah, I've heard that too. Of course, the final cruise will be sold out because it's the last one. Man, that would be awesome. Terry says, I expect it to be so submersive. I plan on taking Wednesday off before going to the other parks again. I expect to be very tired when it's over. Mason, were you tired when you got off this thing?
Kind of. Because it's a lot, but when you get in the bunk bed, it gets you a lot of rest, so it's kind of really good.
That's a good point. Yeah, that is a really good point. Yeah, because you have no, awareness of what time of day it is, or day or night, because you're just so ensconced in the story, and it's not restful, but it is wonderful. So Terry, I think that's a good idea to take a day off. Sit by the pool. Good idea. What were you going to say, buddy? Oh, nothing? Okay, sorry about that. Mary says, I've seen so many people say they're physically and emotionally drained. You are. You're going to be. But it's worth it. David says, last month, Admiral Johnson at Celebration Europe began the Disney Parks panel with, please don't call it a hotel. That's right. That's right. I remember saying that. It backs up what you said, Dan, that people didn't fully understand how much of an immersive experience it was. It's true. It's true. And I remember talking to Anne about this. at a little meetup that we did before we actually got on the cruise, the Halcyon. And yeah, that was something they felt very passionately about, and it makes sense. Ben was now going to become a new attraction for the park, like a restaurant. What do you think?
Possibly.
Imagine walking through Galaxy's Edge and then going through like a tunnel or something and then going into that restaurant.
That'd be great.
That would be fun. I think we would do that. And Andrew agrees that a Sarlacc pool would be great to jump into. So see, you started a little bit of a trend there, buddy. Boba Fett would be like, I'm not swimming in that thing. Terry says, how many of us approximately are planning to go? You mean on our Coffee with Kenobi one? Let's see. So Mary's going to be there. David's going to be there. There's quite a few people that aren't always able to join us on CWK Live who are going to be there too. We have a little Facebook group, the Coffee with Kenobi Facebook group. I think if you go there, you'll see everybody that's going to be on board this thing. And like I said, we've got a couple others who have inquired about it. So we shall see. Mason, it's been great to have you here, buddy. Any last minute suggestions or things you want to do? Actually, before you say that, there is one more thing, as you probably remember from before. The day before Mason's birthday, his last day of being 9, on June 11th at 7 o'clock, we're going to be at Jack Lindsay's Hangar Bar at Disney Springs in Orlando, Florida, to have a little meetup, have a little chat. If you're not, doesn't matter if you're going to go on the Starcruiser with us or not. If you're in the Orlando or Florida area, we would love to see you. Look for a lot of fun little surprises, and maybe there'll be a giveaway or something like that. And then the next day, Mason will turn double digits on the Starcruiser. So yes, be sure to join us Sunday, June 11th. There is an event sign up on Coffee with Kenobi's Facebook page, but of course, you do not have to sign up there to make that happen. Terry would like Mason to teach him sabacc strategy. Mason, are you up for that?
It's called math, but yeah.
Oh, okay, math. Yes, well, but there is a little strategy too, and Terry Mason knows this thing. Plus, there are sabacc tournaments, and if you have downloaded the Play Disney app, I'm sure MEI has been working with you on that. You can already see your itinerary as far as when you're going to do lightsaber training, when you're doing bridge training, when you're doing some of the specific things. So be sure to check out the Galactic Starcruiser data pad. And as we get closer, maybe we'll have more of a formal show to kind of answer your questions and all that good stuff. Mason, it's been great having you, my friend.
Thank you.
You bet. All right, we're going to jump into top 5. Let's hear it from Mason Z. Thanks, buddy.
Yep.
All right, let's go into your top 5. We're going to have your top 5 moments from Star Wars Visions Season 2, Episodes 7 and 9, the last 3 episodes in Season 2 of Star Wars Visions. Thanks, everybody, again. Boy, it sure warms my heart to have Mason back here on the show again. He was excited. It's been a while, but I thought he was a champ. Not even a little bit biased. Okay, I am a lot bit biased, but still. All right, so again, top 5 moments from Star Wars Visions Season 2, Episodes 7 to 9. Let's jump right in, shall we? Okay, good. Ben is rounding his applause. Well, thank you. Like, literally. I bet you literally are. You just seem like that kind of a clever of a person that would do that. Cool. Brian says, nice job, Mason. The CWK set department needs to get him a chair next time. You know what? The CWK studio is kind of a disaster right now. We've got a lot of things I need to reorganize, and that's going to be a summer project for sure. But Mason was excited to stand up and kind of do his thing. So, yes. But he needs that. He needs a better PR guy. He needs a chair in the actual studio himself, I think. All right, number 5. In the 8th episode, The Pit, at the end, there's a very emotional sequence that happens, and it really bothered me. So I think this is the only one from that episode for me, but I put Follow the Light. That's the chant that has started, and it's the light of hope. It's presumably the light of the Force as well, and it's quite moving. So and of course that's a great motif in literature and in Star Wars. So Follow the Light is my number 5. Number 5 for Mary. The vivid colors and textures in the animation are amazing. Owl's song was probably my favorite. I think that's the right pronunciation. Colby was helping me with it on Coffee with Kenobi last week, so I can't quite remember. Jason's number 5, the use of colors in all 3 episodes. Bright to convey hope and life, or drab to convey darkness and oppression? Absolutely. Hendrix 5 is the child and the bandits of Golak using the Force. That was awesome. Andrew, we'll see you later, buddy. Good luck to Lucas on his baseball game. Ross says, get Mason a little bubble behind you like Din Djarin's in one. Oh, now that's good. That is good. I'm sure he'll be all about that. Mean Does 5, I love the animation of the 7th episode. It gave a Clone Wars / Bollywood vibe. Yes, that is the Bandits of Golak, and that is a great comparison right there. Clone Wars / Bollywood. I like that very much. Ross's 5, the years-long time lapse of the pit being dug. That was really brilliant. And, even I didn't think about, well, what's the escape plan? It's just typical selfish Imperial nonsense. It's so frustrating. Ao's and Nabat's relationship. He is very protective of her, but by the end, he is proud of her for being the first of their kind to join the stars. Well said. It's good to see you back, man. I know you've been very busy, so we're really happy to have you back. David's 5, the symbolism of water, parting in Bandits of Golak episode. You mentioned it in the CWK main show. Very biblical. It was very biblical. Really reminded me of the book of Exodus. Brian's 5, now that we've seen all 9, one main theme of season 2 is how the Jedi finding children strong in the Force and taking them from their families. Yeah, that's something that's always been kind of unsettling. Jason says, David also had an Indiana Jones feeling to it. Yeah, it did, didn't it? Very Indiana Jones. And of course, there's a lot of biblical stuff in Indy, especially the first and third films. Let's go to number 4. Number 4 for me, The Hidden Tunnel. Speaking of the Bandits of Golak, it was just mentioned, but the fact that there is a hidden tunnel, the way the water parts and they have to go down, it kind of reminded me of Dungeons and Dragons too. It's just a great visual set piece. Even though it's animation, it's still a set piece, and I like it. I like the symbolism of it. I like the pageantry and majesty of it. I just thought it was a beautiful bit of storytelling that we've seen in other things, but it never ceases to produce sort of an awe to us and wonder. Number 4 for me, To Follow the Light. It was a very emotional episode and shows how a community can come together with help to help one another. Yes, I agree very much. Mary's 4 also, Follow the Light, also my only one from the pit. Yeah, that one just depressed me so much. But it was still well done. Ross is number 4, the eating sequences with Ao and Abat. There are some foods I get that excited about eating, but the reactions are pure joy with every bite. Yes. Of course, from Ao's song. I always appreciate that you put the episode in the parentheses. That's cool. Jason's 4, the connections to the other Star Wars content, the alien on the train and the Bandits of Golak. Look like Master Tera Sanu from Clone Wars. Absolutely. And the yellow text and space background at the beginning of Ao's song. I thought that was cool too. NX4 is the new Inquisitor in the Bandits of Golak. Boy, he really looked scary, especially the animation on his face. Jason, sorry, we just said Jason's. Sorry about that. Ben's for the pit's lessons in economics. As Ross said, the time lapse. The crystal leads to industry and prosperity on the backs of the oppressed. It's a powerful message. Yes, it is, and one sadly we've seen a lot in history. Number 4 for David, animation Ao's song, unbelievably beautiful. Yes, it was. All these, and I really, again, I know I said this a bunch of times, but I thought in visions that I would be like, oh, they're not all in anime style, but it didn't matter. It was just a great, refreshing way to tell a story, and I think that's why Star Wars is such a great canvas for that. I want to get a quick drink. Number 4 for Brian. The Bandits of Golak, the flute uses as a thematic device. We learn of Rania being force sensitive when she grabs the flute using the force, and the flute returns to Shahrukh after they both go into the tunnel. Yeah, the flute is an interesting symbol of hope, of course, and some other things. But yes, I appreciate that you caught that, because I think that's pretty neat. My number 3 is Purification Through Song. This is from Ao's song, but the fact that Ao sings, and it's so beautiful, and she is in tune with the Force through her song, and it's not the first time we've seen music and the Force together. And looking at you, Charles Soule, but it was really beautifully done in this. It's very lighthearted, And there's a very serious, heavy moment in that episode, but then she sings and turns everything and purifies them all. I just thought that was really lovely. I really liked that. I liked, again, the symbolism and metaphor of that. So purifying through song, and it's not only any song, but a child's innocence, a child's passion and love. So I think that's really important. Okay, let's go back. Minta's 3, the Elder and the Bandits of Golak, was quite impressive. She was able to hold her own against the Inquisitor, proving that age doesn't matter. That's right. Age and size don't matter. Ross's for the Jedi. Ross's number 3 at 3:45 of Al's song, when she's singing to the corrupted crystal, and her blue energy confronts the blood-red glow of the Kyber among the stars. Beautiful combination of visuals and soundtrack. Yes, it is. Number 3 for Ben, the graffiti end of credit sequence. It was a beautiful surprise and memorial to Crux for his sacrifice. That was cool. Reminded me of Rebels, too. 3 for Jason, the heartbreaking parting of the ways between siblings and the Bandits of Golak, or a father and child. An Owl song hit the parent feels and shows the sacrifice, right or wrong, of following the Jedi path. The parent feels, I think that's why they resonate with me, too. So, yeah, I hear you, Jason. And even if you're not a parent, I think you can understand that because you're a child. You were a child at one point. You have parents. So that it's just a really powerful thing. Henrik's 3 was the slaves chanting, "Follow the light in the pit." Mary's 3. The close relationship between the brother and sister in Bandits. The sister sending the flute back to her brother after she leaves with the Jedi Master. Very powerful stuff. I'm trying not to say anything because it's going to come up for mine later. David's 3, the older Jedi woman in Bandits of Golak. I really enjoyed her protecting her people and defeating that Inquisitor. That was pretty awesome. Brian's 3 is Al song, Kratu's gentleness with Al, noticing that the Kyber calls to her. It was pretty nice. Again, this is I know Tom talked about this. Tom Gross, of course, will be joining us on the Halcyon, but the father-daughter relationship is really neat. And I have 3 sons. I don't have any daughters. But when you see stories like this, it starts to make sense. And I think it's really well done. All right, let's go to number 2. Number 2, Rugal Jedi Master. I thought she was a terrific character. So she's this older woman. Was I surprised that she ended up being a Jedi Master? Not entirely, but also kind of was, if that makes sense. But I love that they took this Indian woman that appeared to be, older and maybe not someone that you would pick right away for a battle to be at your side. And not only is she a Jedi Master, but she's amazing. And the way she uses her cane and is a lightsaber, which is this great bit of deception. Really well done. A terrific character. I definitely want to see more of Rugal. I really loved her a lot. So that is why this is my number 2. Okay, let's see. Oh, gosh. I'm trying to remember here. I don't want to skip anything. Minta's 2, the style of animation of Al's song was a much needed a lighthearted story that we all needed at the end of the season. Agreed. Ross's 2, the mid-credits scene at the conclusion of the pit. The mural is more airbrushed than spray paint, but there's an essence of Sabine in the final visuals of Star Wars Vision Season 2. I agree with that. Very much. Jason's 2, the final fight scene in the Bandits of Golak. The slow-motion animation was killer, and I love the new Inquisitor and his troopers. Seems like the Bandits of Golak was the one that we most responded to. Henrik's 2 is Al connecting to the Kyber crystals. Great one, Henrik. That was an excellent example and a very powerful moment. Mary's 2, the Jedi Master and Bandits, was so strong and such an unassuming leader. The double lightsaber from her cane was masterful. Her duel with the Inquisitors was well done. I definitely want a Rugal action figure with that incredible cane. Brian's next one, Rugal's surprise intro as a Jedi. We were cheering when she ignites her lightsaber. You know what? I was too. That was awesome. Ben's 2 is Charuk lets his sister go. He traveled all that way just to end up saying goodbye to her, but he knows that letting her go will keep her safe so that he can do things on his own, but also that she can go and grow in her abilities. Davis, too, as others have mentioned, the father-daughter relationship in Al's song identify with the father's protectiveness of his daughter. See, there you go. Another girl dad, as was a popular. I feel like girl dad was a phrase that was used a lot when Kobe Bryant and his daughter passed away. And that's when that and hearing Tom and all of you who have daughters, it's a neat thing. Just like fathers and sons, or mothers and sons, or mother and daughters, there's always unique dynamics as a parent with your kids, whatever gender your kids are. There's just always a unique dynamic there, and kids are great. And Star Wars, I've always liked, even when I was a kid myself, just seeing relationships between parents and their kids there's just something primal about that we all can relate to. All right, let's go to number 1 for episodes 7 to 9. Goodbye. We've been talking about this, but when Shahrukh and Rani say goodbye to each other, oof, that was so sad. I hated it, but I also really respected it, because she had to go to be safe, to protect herself, and to learn more about her abilities, but to keep herself safe. And Shahrukh knew that, and he hated to let her go. You just hope in your heart that they will see each other again. But that really affected me. There's a lot of pathos in that. And if you can get that much emotion out of characters we've only known for about 18 minutes or so, and that's good storytelling and good animation. And there's a lot of heart in this. So the goodbye from you and the pathos that came from that is why it's my number 1. Number 1 for Minta. Ao using her voice to purify the crystal was clever and amazing. Using her song to make something pure again shows her connection to the Force. Possibly might become canon in the future. I don't know. There's some great food for thought there. I really like that, Minta. Ben's 1. Follow the light. Crux's motto, and their voices lead to the village. Lead the village to overcome the Empire and bring justice to those in the pit. I don't know why I said justice, but I think, Ben, the way you wrote that made me feel like it needed it. So well said. Ross is won the lightsaber battle between Rugal and the Inquisitor. I wasn't expecting this at all, nor was I. And I loved every moment of the sequence. I did too. It was so cool. Really nice piece of choreographed fighting too. Jason's 1. We cannot choose where our calling takes us, only whether or not to answer. I love that line. Great line. Good catch, Jason. NX 1 is the planet and owl song. Oh, that's cool. It did seem like a fun place to be, didn't it? Number 1. We cannot choose where our calling takes us, only whether or not to answer. Two people have pointed out that quote. I would love to see Albie training her Jedi Master. Was fantastic. I loved her Jedi Master. Such a cool character. Brian's 1 is from Al's song. Also, Al's inner strength and encouragement on the bridge. She used her voice to help cleanse the Kyber when she had been told her whole life to keep it to herself. Yeah, another wonderful metaphor. Good catch, Brian. David, the message in the pit that basically is yelling, wake up to society in terms of seeing and, all caps, helping those in need. David, great point. Great point. Ben says it did need that emphasis. Well done. Awesome. Well, good. We're in sync. Love that. All right. So excited about this. First of all, thank you for joining me. Thank you for watching these again with me and contributing your top 5. Remember, whether you are with us now on CWK Live, either on Facebook or on Coffee with Kenobi's YouTube channel, you can always put your top 5s in the CWK Cafe later. But next week, what are we going to talk about? Well, I am glad you asked. As you know, there is a movie coming out at the end of June that many of us are very excited about. So we are going to go back and we're going to rewatch, as a Coffee with Kenobi community, the Indiana Jones film. So first, let's start with the movie that started it all, quite possibly my favorite movie in the history of anything, Raiders of the Lost Ark. We're going to give our top 5 moments from Raiders of the Lost Ark. I actually have goosebumps saying that, and Amita saying yes in all caps. Helps me to know this was, in fact, the way to go. So yeah, next week, top 5 moments from Raiders of the Lost Ark. You can probably guess the next month is going to go. Don't miss the short focus about each of the Visions episodes. It is so interesting listening to the different studios. Yes, Mary, thank you for saying that. There's some great commentary about all the different episodes of Star Wars Visions Season 2 on the show Short Focus, which you can find on Disney Plus and I think stars.com has a link to it as well. All right, let's take a little break and go into Ask Dan Z. So I think Brian wins tonight. He says, my daughter's 21 and introduces me to her friends. This is my dad. He's a Jedi. Okay, your daughter's obviously strong in the Force. That's really awesome. Good parenting. Minta, seeing that many Star Wars celebrities are going to New York Comic Con this fall, will you be attending? You know what? I don't know. I don't know yet. That would be so cool. I guess we shall see, Minta. Yeah, New York Comic Con. I've never been to New York Comic Con. Been to San Diego Comic Con. Of course, I've been to many celebrations, but never New York Comic Con. But I've always heard that's a great thing. So we shall see. We shall see. I got in the mail this week. I got some Displate Star Wars display pieces that I'm going to show you next week. I'm looking forward to showing those off. Not a question, but just some love for the passing of Ray Stevenson today. I'm going to be laser focused on his performance in Ahsoka now. So, yeah, rest in peace, Ray Stevenson. Sincere thoughts and prayers to Ray Stevenson and his family. That's a big loss. Not only for what he's done in the world of Star Wars with Clone Wars and Ahsoka, but he's just a man. He's a man, right? He's got a family. I don't know what happened, but we're very sorry to hear that. I got to see him from a distance at Celebration Europe, and he just seemed like a really nice, happy guy. And he's a great presence too. So we definitely are condolences to him and his family. Mary says, we've been to New York Comic Con once. It's big, lots of fun. Would love to go again. Oh, cool. That doesn't surprise me that you've been, Mary, because you've been all over the place. But it does look fun. What was my favorite episode from Season 2 of Visions? Let me think about this. It was I can't think of the name now. Let me pull it up and see. It was the episode with the tower. With the heads in the tower, oh gosh, I can't. We talked about it, but I think you know what I'm talking about, Brian. Ross says, I loved him since his performance in Rome on HBO. Any hints on what side he'll be on during our trip? Alliance, First Order, Scoundrel, getting ready to drink tons of blue and green milk, play Sabacc, do some lightsaber training, do as many missions as possible in the Halcyon and in Black Spire Outpost. Journey to the Dark Head. Thank you, David. That's my favorite episode. So, any hint? Well, gosh, honestly, David, part of the fun is not revealing it, I think. So I'm going to keep it pretty close to the vest, to use a Sabacc reference there. Jason, with Disney dropping certain titles from its streaming service later this week, do you or anyone else think they'll end up on one of the free streaming platforms? I'm most concerned about Willow. You know what? I don't know what they're going to do with that. Or they're just going to put it kind of in in the vault like Disney used to do years ago, when there was a thing called VHS, kids. It's like every 5 to 7 years, they would re-release a classic Disney movie, and it would be out for a little bit, and they would take it away again. So maybe they would do something like that. It is a shame to see that happen. But I mean, as for me personally, with budget cuts and people not having their jobs with Disney anymore, I'd much rather see that than people lose our jobs. And I know that you all feel exactly the same way. You know what I mean? So if they're going to cut costs, I'd rather they take some stuff from the streaming service than people lose their jobs. And I know you all feel exactly the same way. But that being said, there's a lot of great stuff that's being cut. And Willow, it's too bad. I mean, you can certainly go back and listen to our reviews of all the Willow episodes, but I would highly recommend that if you haven't seen it yet, make sure you binge episode or season 1 of Willow. There's some really cool storytelling there too. Now, it wasn't my favorite. I don't want to suddenly flip the script, but there's a lot of good stuff there. I am bummed it will be gone. Thank you, David, for the laugh. Mary says, we be old? I remember those vault days. Yeah, no, we're not old. We're just experienced. We've just seen a lot of stuff. Like Johnny Cash says, I've been everywhere, man. By the way, here's one of my shirts from Celebration Europe. It's one of those screen print ones where you go inside the shop. This is a Stormtrooper. It says Europe Celebration. Mary binge Willow this weekend. Awesome. Meantime, may the force be with you. Thank you for joining me. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. Thank you to Mason Zaire for coming back on the show, talking about the Galactic Starcruiser. Don't forget that next week, so excited, we're going to talk about your top 5 most from Raiders of the Lost Ark as we revisit these incredible films with my favorite character, Indiana Jones. Ross, have a great weekend, everyone. Thanks, Dan and Mason. Thank you, Ross, for joining me, buddy. Hope you are doing great. Mary, have a wonderful week, and happy Memorial Day weekend. Yes, we'll be on next Monday night on Memorial Day. Terry, thanks for a wonderful show. Terry, thank you for joining us. So many of you rearrange your schedules to join us, and that's so amazing. Thank you. It really means a lot to me. Ben, that's why I still like to buy things I love to watch. You never know when it'll be pulled. Exactly. That's a good point. Jason, have a great week. Please tell Henrik we said hello. Brian, a great way to start the week as always. Thanks, Dan. Brian's going to actually be joining me on a future show to talk about the Starcruiser. He's a recent guest on the Starcruiser. I think that'll be fun. David, good to be on with you, buddy. Looking forward to spending time with you and all of our friends on the Halcyon. Remember, you've gotten on June 26th is when new reservations sign up. So if you are on the fence, this literally is it. It's only going to be around for a little bit longer. So we're going June 12th to the 14th, 3 weeks from today. coffeewithkenobi.com/mousefantravel. If you have a hard time getting through, send me a DM and I will connect you with Mousefan Travel directly. Brian, great to see you too. Thanks again, everybody. I'm going to wrap things up here. See you next time. This is a live podcast you're looking for. See you soon.
This podcast is not endorsed by the Walt Disney Company or Lucasfilm Limited. It is intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. The official Star Wars website can be found at www.starwars.com. Star Wars, all names, sounds, and any other Star Wars related items are registered trademarks and or copyrights of Disney and their respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of Coffee with Kenobi unless otherwise indicated.
This is the podcast you're looking for.